Hello everyone, we have a game with the white pieces against Alari J. Rated 1048. We'll try to get a Jobava London on the board. He stops us from playing e4. It's good news because now we can get the Jobava London. We bring out our bishop towards the center, and he does the same thing, brings out his bishop towards the center. Now the standard move that every one of you should play is e3. I'm going to start with f3, which is just a cheeky move order that I'm doing, which I guess gives some weird idea that maybe e4 might come one day. I don't know. Either way, you're going to go e3 anyway. It's just a weird move order. If we attack the bishop before playing e3, I don't think it matters. But maybe let's not just play games. Let's just put the pawn in the center and open our bishop. We could kick the bishop next. We're controlling his pieces. Prophylaxis. He played a6 to stop our Jobava London ideas, which we've done plenty of times ourselves. And now he develops the knight towards the center. This only makes sense if you're really going to play e5. He also might be trying to do some weird Jobava London stuff, but that doesn't really work. So we're going to follow up with our plan and play g4, which misplaces this bishop. So he goes back maintaining this diagonal, but allows us to play h4 for free, gaining space on the king side and creating a free pawn storm, all because the bishop is kind of trapped. So he says, I don't care. I'm still going for these Jobava London ideas at all costs. It's obviously not dangerous. I'm going to invite him to mess up. I'm going to move my rook to c1, protect the pawn, and say, hey guy, please take me. You get a rook. What did he just do? Okay, he proposes a take back, so I'm going to let him take it back, because why'd you just blunder your piece? That was weird. Maybe he thought once I take, I don't know what he thought, but it doesn't work. He does take. Why would you take though? I guess he doesn't know yet that, I mean, he's rated 1050. He should know that two pieces are better than a rook in most of these situations. So we gladly take two pieces, which are so strong. And now we have ease development. Bishop here, knight here, knight here, or here. No problems. So he tries to break down our construction. He's double hitting our g-pawn, but we're more than happy to kick this knight, gain space, solidify the structure, and then develop. He has to go back because he has no good squares. And we even have alternative options of development, but after e6, maybe the bishop should be on d3. So he goes back home, which is interesting because it gives us this possibility of g6. Is it good though? He'll just bring his knight back out. You take, he takes. It's good if you can coordinate on the light square with your queen, but you're kind of undeveloped. It might be good, but I'm just going to stick to simplicity and get a piece out, aim at the square. Now we can go here. If he does go here and we take, you can throw the bishop check. He has to go to g8. Then his rook is trapped, so you're effectively up 5 points of material there, so that's nice. Otherwise, you just play move by move, which is how I like to play chess. e6, opening the bishop, but not really threatening anything. We could continue developing. Again, g6, knight out, takes, check. King back, I mean, it's not like we sacked material or anything, but why let his knight back into the game? So I just want to keep developing, I guess. We'll bring our last minor piece out towards the center. And we just have so many pieces. 4 minor pieces developed, the queen developed, and not a single thing is developed for him. Only pawn moves on the board. So it's a tragedy. You know, he took our rook, but this rook has 0 effect, right? Where can it go? Nowhere. So he does our work for us, weakening the light squares, and we didn't even have to play g6. So this is good for us. We're immediately going to throw in the free check, gaining control of the diagonal, forcing him to run, and the game is now definitely over. So this is a lost position for black, and if you're not sure how to play, just play it slowly. So he moves his king, you know you're better. You don't need to find a checkmate in 1. There might not be a checkmate in 1. King f2, king safety. You can bring your rook into the game. It looks pretty solid to me. Also, maybe you can break in the center now that his king is weird. We don't want to take and develop his pieces, right? If we open in the center, how does that look? I mean, ideally, let's go king f2. That way we get our rook access to these lines. Then we could think about what we want to open. Let's just get the king to safety. You could have castled, but then your king would be on g1, which looks a little more exposed to me than f2, which looks a little more, you know, like it's protecting everything and vice versa. And so his king's still in the middle. If he wants to waste turns running, you know, fine for me. We have a semi-open C file. That's the only file that's semi-open for us, so we can try to use it. We also happen to have pressure there with our bishop. You know, we want him to take as opposed to us to take or push, because those are both bad options for him. He goes knight here, which threatens the bishop, but the bishop's protected. We could just bring our rook in, or we could improve a piece. We also could probably just thrash around in the center, although that would hang the bishop, so let's not do that right now. I mean, you can't go wrong by bringing your last piece in the game. We also don't need to give him our bishop. We can just bring it back. Yeah, let's just bring it back. He's all entangled. None of his pieces can move. We'll just bring it back. We could always bring the rook over next, or the knight with weird ideas. And I think overall I don't want to break in the center. I want to maintain my structure, which protects my king. And I'll just hunt him on the c file. I think this is the most efficient approach. Let's double stack, threatening knight to the side with, you know, threats. And we just have a nice slash completely winning position. Okay, so he moves his knight forward. This threatens the h-pawn. And to give him an asset in the endgame, a passed h-pawn, that makes sense. Our light square bishop is doing jack all, right? It's not even going to participate in the fight on c7. Also, I only didn't want to trade for the knight before because that would put my queen here, and I didn't want my queen on that side. I wanted it on the c file. Also, now when we take the knight, it comes with a free pawn with check, so that's very different than before. And our queen on f5 is actually very active, whereas on g6 in the other line, it wasn't active because it didn't really have anything to do here. So he moves his king, but he's still hanging everything. So for example, we take his next central pawn, and he's hanging a just a bunch of stuff. And this was a successful game for the Jobava London. At the 1050 level, and I gave him a take back. So you can do what I just did. So he moves his bishop in an attempt to stop my threats. That's fair. I mean, I could try to calculate and see if we have anything here, but like, can you just go knight takes c7? Is that a thing? What if he takes our bishop? We could probably just take back. If we go here and he takes our knight, we get the queen. Alright, I mean, let's just do it. So we're just removing the defender of the dark squares so that we can take and fork him this way. Bringing his king out. And now we're basically up a knight. Okay. We could try to get it in the game, but then we'll just be attacking with the knight and the queen. I'd rather attack with 3 things than 2. And you're probably like, well, how's that even possible? This pawn, a third piece. Let's use it. And now we can put our knight to a more forward square. Of course, you have a ton of moves. You can do whatever you want. I'm just showing you how to use 3 attackers instead of 2 when you think you only have 2. So he's looking at this pawn, but it's protected. So we just follow up with our knight in the center and try to attack with 3 pieces or more if you can get, more pawns. His king is completely unsafe with a queen on the board, and it's not behind his position, it's in front of his rooks. So he tries to decoy our queen, but it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to throw in this improving move for free. Of course, you can't take the rook unless it comes with check because your queen is hanging. So now we're even closer to his position, which is good for us. So now we get out of this. Of course, you can take these pawns. They're hanging. You can do whatever you want. But I'm going to check him because it comes with coordination squares with the knight. So now when I check him, he has to go here. And this is terrible. Not only can you do things like take the rook or push the pawn, creating checkmating nets, you probably can checkmate him a number of ways. If you give this check, he has to go here, but then you're thinking, what do I do there? And it's not so clear. But if you just move your queen here, you're threatening what exactly? Nothing. So I mean, I guess we'll just have to push the pawn, but I really thought it might work. But I guess it doesn't, because he can escape. Whatever, we'll just push the pawn and threaten mate in 1. Mate in 1's good enough. I was looking for some type of queen and knight construction that didn't involve the pawn, but this is why I'm telling you, use 3 attackers. Makes your life a lot easier. There might not have even been a construction without it, so yeah. Let's go through the game. We go for Jobava London, knight in the center, development, development and center. And now here you can definitely play the standard e3. I switched up the move order for fun and played f3. In either way, I was going to play e3 and f3 next because he brought his bishop out, and I wanted to harass it. So center and development. Just gaining space for free. Gaining space for free. And I harassed him. I mean, what did I say? Oh yeah, I wanted to provoke him to make a mistake. But the computer said, hey, why didn't you play h5? Trapping the bishop anyway. And I guess if he takes and you go here, he's stuck and loses a piece. Because if he protects the, I mean, you're not threatening anything, but you're going to kick his knight next and win the bishop. And his bishop can't go anywhere because it's hanging. Okay, so whoops, could have won a piece. I blundered, my one blunder of the game, 92% accuracy. Because instead of looking for the forcing move and calculating, I took the lazy approach and just made a regular developing move. Which, I mean, you still want to be white here. You're going to kick his knight next, and then you're going to trap his bishop. Still looks great, but you had a forcing line that won the game. We didn't go down it. So he voluntarily throws the game by taking. So it was a completely even game, right? Playable for both sides, which is what I thought it was, but I'd rather be white. And then he goes to +3 by just hanging. You know, even though it's 6 points for 6 points, the evaluation is already +2.5, so you can see how unequal that is. Yes. And then we improve our position for free. You see, the computer did want g6. I figured it was the move, but yeah, then you just develop. They don't even care. They just say include it. Weakens his light squares. Can't be bad. Which is what I figured, but I said let's go the simple route. And we just developed, I think. Why does it keep doing that? Yeah, we develop towards the center. +2.6, still fine. We develop towards the center. And now, of course, that he did our job for us, +4.5. King safety. And you see the computer says it's safe to break in the center. I mean, you definitely can because of his alignment, but if his king wasn't super weak, it's useful to know how to play without breaking in the center. So let me turn this off. You don't have to retreat it, but why give it up for the knight? His knight's terrible. Improve a piece, almost for free. And then he just hangs it, free stuff, with check. More free stuff. And then more free stuff. We find this tactic. Free stuff, free stuff. And then here you could do whatever you want, but adding a third attacker. I said I could put my knight here, but I'd rather move it more forward. I can't move it because the pawn's in the way. Might as well move the pawn as a third attacker and give the knight a better square. That's what we do. Improve for free. Improve for free. Mate in 5. And then just checkmate. So, easy game. Okay, so we were supposed to push. If he takes with the knight, you're in check. So you have to move your king. They say best is king d2, but I'm not sure that's what I would have played. It's quite a big difference too. So is queen d2 good? I mean king d2? Let's say I go king f2. He takes the rook. I get the bishop. He can't take with the h-pawn. Let's say he takes this way. I get the knight. He pushes, and I just play the game. Okay, so let's go down that line, but I go king here. He still takes the knight. We still take the bishop. He still takes here. And now I can either take or go bishop d3, but let's say I take. He still plays here. What's the difference? No idea. I guess they think it's a little safer on d2. Which isn't my first instinct, but okay, so If you go here and he takes with the knight, you're basically forcing the rook for two-piece trade, which is what we got. And if he takes with the bishop, you're not in check, but you have to move the queen somewhere. And now what's his best move? If he just plays anything, we kick the knight, as mentioned. He evacuates the bishop, you take the knight, and you're up a piece. Okay. So I'll keep that in mind next time. That, yeah, he's probably just trapped. Either way, solid game. Black's never better. Some of the Jobava London ideas came through in this game, so hopefully it helps you. I'll see you in the next game. Good luck in your chess.